Hello, everybody. I trust everybody had a good break here for Christmas and New Year's. Sorry if my voice is a little raspy, feeling just a little bit under the weather. As you know, here in Florida, that something bomb, that big winter storm has dropped the temperatures down here pretty significantly. If you remember last time, I ended up coming off of Dragon's Tooth. Okay, and coming down from Dragon's Tooth to the Virginia 624, and I had thought about doing this at the time because I was going to try and actually do a resupply at Catawba and head into Daleville, but I was so badly worn coming down with the 2 days of kind of dehydration. I was not in great shape. Matter of fact, when I went up to Four Pines Hostel, the first thing they said is go to the fridge and there's some rehydration popsicles they've got over there that have electrolytes in them, and go have one of those. I guess I looked pretty bad. So anyway, this is the point in time too. I think I ended up taking at least a 0, maybe 2 zeros here because I was starting to have the flare up that actually took me off the trail. I didn't know what it was at the time. I knew I had a lot of pain and discomfort, had a hard time sleeping. Matter of fact, the 2 days I was here, I hardly slept at all. And was trying to figure out what was going on. I think here I kind of had decided that I would probably, well, no, I hadn't decided yet. I go to urgent care because Daleville's coming up. And I probably should have gone to urgent care there. But I didn't do it. I waited until I got to Waynesboro, and that was probably a mistake on my part. So this is one of the lessons learned in life, you know, and I never learned this on the trail. I just would always just keep pushing through stuff. You know, something's wrong, take care of it. If you're hurt, get it fixed. You know, they say bad news never gets better with time. I used to say that to my folks when I was a squadron commander, that if something happens and it's bad news, don't hide it, don't hold off on it, just bring it to me, because it only gets worse as time goes on. So injuries and illnesses and sicknesses on the trail, that happens, because by the time I get to Waynesboro, for those of you who had followed me in 2016, you knew that my doctor thought I had colon cancer and asked me to come off the trail and come home. So I got off after 931 miles and ended my through hike. So and the worst, I mean, it started in Damascus, but I thought I was managing it, and by the time I got to Four Pines, I was in quite a bit of distress, but I was gonna suck through it, you know, embrace the suck. Well, you know, sometimes you can embrace the suck unless it's illness or injury. Okay, then you have to be a little more cautious. You can embrace the suck if it's hot, if it's cold, if it's rainy, if it's snowy, it's sleety, it's icy. If you got black flies, you embrace that suck. But if you're sick or injured, you gotta take care of it. And that's one of my big lessons learned for my two through hike attempts. Okay, all right. So as you know, I went into Catawba. There's a resupply there, and I got enough. I did not do 3 days, because what we ended up doing is for $20, the Four Pines Hostel went into Daleville and dropped our pack off, and we slack packed in. 26 miles, very, very brutal. Honestly, I was glad I slack packed it just to get it done instead of trying to take 2 days up over McAfee. But that also meant that we had to rush, and I ended up probably, with the condition I was in and the pain I was in, that honestly I ended up taking an extra day in Daleville. I was going to do a 0 in there. I think I ended up doing 2 zeros, mainly because of how I was feeling. I got wiped out, and there was really bad weather, so we kind of held off a day. Plus, they had the Troutville had their trail days that was going on, and Troutville and Daleville are kind of sister cities next to each other. All right. So you hike down the road from the hostel, you get down to the trail, you're going to do a little bit of a climb up. Then it's pretty level. Okay, another little climb, and then just a lot of kind of ridgeline moguls, and then you drop down, and this is where you can cross 331. And if I remember right, if you're going to walk to that gas station, do it from the Three Pines Hostel. It's like a half a mile down the road the other way from the hostel. But if you come here, it's going to be a mile round trip, so it's a little bit longer. And that's initially what I thought I'd do. I'd come in and do a kind of a 2 days resupply, and then take 2 days to get into Daleville. But we ended up slack packing this anyway. So, all right. So not too far after, there's a nice parking area here. If you're going to do this as a day hike, you park here, and you kind of start to climb up. There's actually a couple of shelters here. Kind of marginal water at both of them, so you don't want to rely upon that. I think you want to make sure you have plenty of water as you go up, because you're not going to get any until you're actually past McAfee down here, okay? And anyway, so you start to climb up, and let me show you a picture of me at McAfee. There was one at the beginning. One of the things that you're kind of subject to. I mean, this is the most photographed spot on the Appalachian Trail. It's very beautiful. We had kind of marginal weather that day. It was okay for our photographs, but then it kind of started turning nasty. You definitely want to time this right, because this is your big AT hero shot, other than the one at Katahdin. You're also kind of subject to those who are with you and their ability to do photography. And you'll notice that I did not get, honestly, these two shots of me at McAfee Knob were the best, and they're kind of marginal. So I did not, the camera gods did not smile on me for getting a great shot at McAfee Knob. But here, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, from there, you know, there was a descent, but it didn't seem like it, because it was just kind of a long ridgeline walk, and you could look out, you could see a bunch of views, and it seemed more gradual in the end than what this is depicting on here. You know, and through this area here, you've got some great views. Let me show you one of the views that you have from this area. Okay, from there, you're going to, once again, kind of start to climb up a little bit. And once again, I don't remember it being that much of a climb. It seemed to me like most of this was all kind of more ridgeline walking. And you get over here to Tinker Cliffs, and you can go over there, and it's a really, really beautiful view from there. Let me insert a photograph here of what that looks like. All right. At this point, we stopped for lunch. I was with two other people, Burnsaw and Fire Feet. I was with them, and so we took lunch here, and then the weather started in, and through this area here, we were up on top of this ridge line. It started raining and it started lightning, and you know, if you know from other videos, I don't like to hike in really heavy downpours, and this didn't really classify as heavy downpours for the most part, but it was constant and steady. But the thing that got me there was lightning. We were having lightning strikes all over the place through here. Now, Lambert Meadows, you weren't allowed to camp there because there was there's some bear activity, so this shelter was closed. But we did kind of go in there and stop, since it was right on the trail, and get out of the rain for a little while. Took a break, and then headed back out, and honestly, through this area, all through this area here, we were hiking as fast as we could hike, because lightning was just hitting everywhere around us as we headed down this area, trying to avoid the thunderstorms. What I noticed coming out during this period of time were those spotted newts. I think they're called like imps or something like that. They're orange. You see a lot of people photograph them on the AT. And this is the first time that I've actually had seen them come out. And there were so many of them that Burnsaw was actually stopping to pick them up and put them on the side of the trail so that other hikers wouldn't step on them. Okay, so once again, continuing to hike along that area. We're kind of making this kind of more gradual descent. lot more ridgeline type stuff, and in here again, hay rock. There's a really cool view of a lake in Daleville, and I'll insert that in here. This was significant. I would have liked to spend a little more time here. My friend Brett, when he hiked in 2012, had received word that his friend that he started out with had gotten about 3 or 4 days ahead of him, and had decided to quit. And they had coordinated they would go back to Daleville and meet and talk about him getting off the trail. And Brett has he shared a memory with me of sitting up here and going, well, is this it? Is this where my through hike dies? And he, of course, decided that it wasn't, and he continued to finish in 2012 in August. I had kind of wanted to have kind of that same kind of self-reflection experience, but it was just raining and it was lightning, and there was no way I was going to sit up on a rock. I think I got a photograph. I think it stopped raining at the time that I took this picture, but it continued to rain pretty much all the way into almost right about here, and then it kind of stopped raining. Let me show you what that looks like. The view from Hayrock. Okay, Daleville is a major trail town. As you see, my planned supply before I started hiking was almost 6 days. When I get ready to do this next leg, I'll talk about whether or not I actually carried 6 days or if I ended up kind of replanning. Because 6 days of food is a lot of weight to carry, and I was learning that all that kind of extra weight is bad. One thing I forgot to mention, and I'm going to go backwards here in time. As you come down here this road, I forgot to mention there's a home place restaurant. This, I never got to go there to eat. It's an all-you-can-eat. It's great. Everybody that's eating there really loves it, but it's only open Thursday through Sunday. And of course, I was in the area during that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so I never got to actually go to that home-style restaurant. So, but if you're there, definitely worth the effort to go to that restaurant and enjoy it. Okay, so we're at Daleville now, and this is where I sent home my overquilt, my 30-degree quilt. Okay, and I picked up a Sea to Summit adapter bag, which is kind of like a reactor bag, except it's kind of more for summer, kind of a thick flannel sheet feeling thing it's impregnated with permethrin for the bugs. And so that, along with my silk cocoon, was my basically going to be my summer bag outfit, if you will. And there were a couple of nights after that where it was still cool enough that I threw my puffy on. But for the most part, that was now going to continue to work until I got to Waynesboro and went to a hammock. All right, so Daleville, this is one of the next major trail towns. This has a good resupply in it. You'll notice when you're coming in from the AT, you'll be crossing some railroad tracks, and you're going to come down and you're going to hit the main road. And you make a right turn to the Hojo, the Howard Johnson's Express. That's where I stay. A lot of the other people like the Super 8. I think either one is a safe bet for you. Okay, if I remember right, I think that was closed at Rancho Viejo, the Pizza Hut we ate at. There's a grocery store up in this area, and there's also the Outfitter. Is up in here. Okay, so the grocery store and Outfitter. So a little bit of a walk, but not bad. You're just kind of along the road here. And when I was coming back with my bags of groceries, a lady stopped and gave me a ride back to the hotel, even though it was only 300 yards. Hey, she stopped. I wasn't hitchhiking. She offered to take me, and I gladly accepted it. So, all right. And then this is where Troutville is. Okay. And there is up here in Troutville, there's a fire station. Sometimes I'll let you go up there and take a shower, do some laundry. When trail days is going on, you could be in the park. I never went up there for trail days. It just didn't seem to have that much interest on the trail. That was a long way to get to if you were staying here like I did. It took a zero. They kind of had a shuttle, but it was really super expensive. It was like $20 or $30 just to get up here. There are some people that used Uber, and it was like $7. And this is going to kind of start to become a theme, I think, as we go north. More and more people are using Uber because when you get, especially get up in the northeast, I noticed that I was relying more on taxis to come get us, and it was very, I don't know, I'm gonna say it was like, well, we'll come get you when we're ready and when we're willing and when we're able, and maybe they might come, maybe they might not. So a lot of people were switching over to using Uber. So anyway, just a thought. Okay, so there's an overview of Daleville, Troutville. Literally you just cross the road. You're gonna start back up again, and basically it's a nice little hike until you cross the road, and you head out. Easy terrain through that part. It's an easy 2 miles through there. Okay, not difficult at all. Okay, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Once again, that was all done on one day, 26 miles. Brutal, but I was glad I did it that way. All right, take care, everybody. Until next time.